What's a side effect of giving birth that doesn't get talked about? 1. The very first time you stand up after childbirth, all your innards go sloosh downward. 2. I'm not sure why this happened, but after my third delivery, my vitamin K levels dropped so dramatically all of my toenails fell off over the course of a week or so. 3. After the birth, you start trembling because all your hormones are out of whack. That really scared me until the nurse told me it was normal. 4. Major hormone stuff afterwards. Like, feelings and changes in your body you've never experienced. For the first year after. If you have an underlying mental illness or autoimmune anything. Buckle up, girl. 5. I'd have loved a heads up about the likelihood and treatment of hemorrhoids before I had a whole new human to keep alive. Also, no periods was such a great part of pregnancy, but I didn't know I'd be having the equivalent of 9 at once after the birth was over. Oh. And breastfeeding speeds up the uterus returning to normal size, which they describe as cramps, but for me it was contractions all over again. Contractions with a vacuum attached to a nipple. 6. Came here to say hemorrhoids. I couldn't sit for nearly 2 weeks. This was on top of a second-degree tear. I give new moms care packages of Colace, Preparation H, and snacks. Also, no one tells you how long going to the bathroom takes. Between changing your mesh underwear, massive pad, and tucks, don't forget that you can't wipe, so you need a peri bottle, then you need to just pat dry. This will all take longer because your undercarriage is completely blown out. Oh, and the baby is probably crying. 7. Risking to rip down there. It can go to your anus, but it can also rip upwards and rip your clit. 8. Friend of mine had a baby. She was perfectly healthy before the baby. Post-baby, she has diabetes. Apparently, that's a thing that can happen. 9. Cancer. Your hormones being so out of whack it can trigger cancer due to the pregnancy. Happened to my mom and sister. My sister did not make it. Frown 10. I no longer had seasonal allergies or debilitating stomach pains after times of stress. Don't know if that is a thing for other people's pregnancies, but it was a nice little perk for me. 11. Sprained wrists and ankles are very common. Towards the end of pregnancy your body produces a hormone called relaxin that allows your ligaments and tendons to stretch further so your hip bones can move to allow the baby to pass through. Unfortunately, it's not targeted, it affects everything. Many women have the bones in their feet spread so far that they need wider shoes, and for some women, their feet never return to their pre-pregnancy size. 12. You have opened a massive gate for possible new and horrible health conditions that you otherwise might never have been a candidate for. 13. Huge, massive, horrible blood clots. And you poop while pushing. Don't believe me? Push right now and notice your butthole involved. 14. My wife's change in hormones got rid of her frequent migraines. Had them her whole life, and hasn't really had any in the 5 years since our first was born.